reporters. As for the Vanity Fair article, Michael, I'll take your question directly. This is, unfortunately, another example of disingenuous reporting, where you have a reporter who took the chief of staff's words wildly out of context, did not include the context those conversations were had within. And then further, I think the most egregious part of this article was the bias of omission that was clearly present. And we see a lot of this when dealing with the media every day.
When incompetent people try to run a cover-up, they almost always end up exposing more than they hide. And that has defined Donald Trump's entire presidency. Whether it's his corruption, his disturbing ties to Jeffrey Epstein, or his visibly declining health, the people around Trump have consistently failed to keep anything buried. And nowhere is that failure more obvious than with his health, especially because of Carolyn Leavitt, who has now completely screwed Donald Trump just as a court is on the verge of gaining access to and potentially releasing his medical records. This is a full-blown code red situation for Trump. The White House is in chaos, and there is a lot to unpack. On top of all of that, we also have an interview with a young governor who is directly calling out Donald Trump. We're going to get into all of it today. But before we do, I just want to ask you to leave a like on this video. And if you haven't already and you enjoy our work, hit that subscribe button because it really helps us, especially as we continue to call out Donald Trump's health issues. Now, before we break down the court case and exactly how Carolyn Leavitt put Trump in this position, I want to start with the reporting that finally forced the media to pay real attention to Donald Trump's health, as explained by Lawrence O'Donnell right here.
He's in sharp mental and physical decline. And we now have a number for it. 39%. That is the measure of Donald Trump's physical decline since his first time in the White House. 39%. In an article published tonight by the New York Times, Katie Rogers and Dylan Friedman report under the headline, "Shorter Days, Signs of Fatigue, Trump Faces Realities of Aging in Office." The Times has documented the newly abbreviated schedule for the struggling 79-year-old man. Quote, in 2017, the first year of his first term, Mr. Trump's scheduled events started at 10:31 a.m. on average. By contrast, Mr. Trump in his second term has started scheduled events in the afternoon on average at 12:08 p.m. His events end on average at around the same time as they did during the first year of his term, shortly after 5 p.m. The number of Mr. Trump's total official appearances has decreased by 39%. 39% less Donald Trump. That's what we're getting now. Donald Trump was the laziest president we had ever seen in his first term. He is now 39% lazier. And he is now apparently struggling with a 5-hour workday. And of course, none of us have seen him do anything that in any way meets the definition of work during those 5 hours. The Times reports Mr. Trump appeared to doze off during an event in the Oval Office. And so we are now covering the physical decline and fall of Donald Trump. Last night, I mentioned Donald Trump's age a couple of times when I pointed out that you can see the 79-year-old man who gets very little sleep bewildered about how he is losing his grip on the Republican Party. And there are people who are in full-blown dementia in their early 60s. We all age differently, and Donald Trump is aging just fine for someone who should be watching TV all day and playing golf occasionally, but he's aging terribly for a president. But Donald Trump at his best age would have been the stupidest president and most incompetent president in history and the most corrupt. A younger Donald Trump is not a better Donald Trump. Congressional Democrats have much to be thankful for this Thanksgiving, but next Thanksgiving, they will have much more to be thankful for. At least Republicans believe that, because next Thanksgiving, Republicans believe Hakeem Jeffries will be waiting to be sworn in as Speaker of the House the following January. The Democrats will control the House of Representatives by a larger margin than the Republicans control it now, and Donald Trump will be facing real investigations with real subpoena power in the House of Representatives about the biggest payoffs in the history of Washington corruption, which will mean that Donald Trump's presidency, as we know it, will be over a year from now.
There are only a handful of journalists in the mainstream media who have actually paid serious attention to Donald Trump's obvious physical and cognitive decline, and Lawrence O'Donnell is absolutely one of them. He has repeatedly pointed out the slurred speech, the rambling, the confusion, and the overall cognitive deterioration that anyone can hear simply by listening to Donald Trump speak on a daily basis. And it is disturbing, deeply disturbing, especially when you contrast it with the White House's constant strategy of deny, deny, deny. At this point, it almost feels like they are intentionally drawing more attention to the issue because of how blatant and absurd their lies have become. Carolyn Levitt, in particular, keeps pushing the same tired narrative, and every time she does, it only makes the situation more obvious and more ridiculous.
The president's been spotted out and about a number of times with bandages on his hands. Could you please explain what that is about? Secondly, he noted on Truth Social the other day that he had aced 3 cognitive tests. Could you please clarify when those tests took place?
I can do that at a later date. I obviously don't have that in front of me. The president has spoken about that quite extensively throughout the years. As for the bandages on the hand, we've also given you an explanation for that in the past. The president is literally constantly shaking hands. The Oval Office is like Grand Central Terminal. He is meeting with more people than any of you even know about on a daily basis. He's also on a daily aspirin regimen, which is something his physical examinations has said in the past as well, which can contribute to that bruising that you see here.
I have shaken plenty of hands with plenty of people who just really get after it. You know, those people who want to hurt you when they don't be that person who does the hardest handshake possible. I've shaken plenty of hands in my day. Never gotten a bruise, never gotten bruises so bad I glop makeup slop onto them and it's continuous for days on end. There was a congresswoman who in fact talked about how she suspects Donald Trump might actually be taking a dementia medication in his hand. And that's the reason for the bruising and the swelling and of course the cognitive decline. But all of that is about to be revealed because one of Donald Trump's lawsuits is coming back to bite him, and Carolyn Levitt as well. Trump may be forced to fork over tax returns and medical records in Pulitzer lawsuit. Donald Trump could be forced to give up his tax returns and medical records in a Pulitzer defamation lawsuit over the Russia Investigation Reporting Awards. According to a report Monday, Pulitzer Prize board members filed court documents in Florida after December 11th. Trump now has 30 days from that date to respond to claims and document request law and crime reported. Defendants, who include 20 different people from multiple media organizations, have demanded all of Donald Trump's tax returns from all jurisdictions, including all attachments, schedules, and worksheets from 2015 to most recent documents pointing to sufficient to show all sources of your income. In addition to documents from the same time frame that are sufficient to show all of your financial holdings, they are also requesting his listed liabilities plus his health records and prescription medication history. So Donald Trump had lost his mind. That reporting, factual reporting, mind you, factual investigative reporting revealed his connection with Vladimir Putin and, of course, Russian interference in our elections. And so he sued. And that lawsuit, thank God, has backfired on Donald Trump, with the defendants asking, well, if you're wanting information from us, how about we get a little bit from you? Now, those tax documents are going to piss him off, but certainly the ask for that medical history will as well. Donald Trump is going to be furious because we know exactly what he is hiding. We know exactly what Donald Trump doesn't want us to see because we see it every day. It is his brain leaking out of his head. It is his stumbling and his slurring. Thanks for watching, and if you stuck around at the end, you can drop the blue heart in the comment. And until next time, I will see you soon.